The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew.
Glory to you, O Lord.
At that time, Jesus came out and called out, "Have pity on me, Lord, Son of David. My daughter is tormented by a demon." But Jesus did not say a word in answer to her. Jesus' disciples came and asked him, "Send her away, for she keeps calling out after us." He said in reply, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." But the woman came and did Jesus homage, saying, "Lord, help me." He said in reply, "It is not right to take the food of the children and throw it to the dogs." She said, "Please, Lord, for even the dogs eat the scraps that fall from the table of their masters." Then Jesus said to her in reply, "O woman, great is your faith. Let it be done for you as you wish." And the woman's daughter was healed from that hour. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Our faith professes that Jesus was truly God and truly human. At the time of Jesus, the people there had trouble accepting that he was God. He was one of them. They knew him, knew his family. He was like them. He talked like them. But he could do those amazing things. He fed large crowds, healed the sick, drove out demons, raised the dead. I think for us today, we have more trouble accepting that Jesus was human because he could do all those amazing things. And then we read a passage where Jesus was angry, or as we heard today's gospel, he treated this woman very rudely, and that just doesn't seem to fit with our idea of Jesus as God. So we try to explain those kinds of things away. I've heard people say, "Oh, Jesus really didn't mean it when he said that to her," or "He was smiling when he said it." Maybe he was, but it doesn't say that in the gospel. In his humanity, Jesus was born in a particular time and place. He was part of a culture with all of its attitudes and biases. For a Jew of that time, in Matthew's gospel, he sent out the 12, and he told them not to go into pagan territory or enter a Samaritan town. As we heard repeated today, he was sending them to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. In his humanity, that's how he defined or limited his mission. That was it. Now, Jesus seems to break his own rule by going into pagan territory. Maybe he thought he was going someplace where they wouldn't know him, and so it'd be a little break for him and his disciples. But even in pagan territory, he encounters a woman who knows him. And more than knows who he is, she believes in him. Many of his own people didn't believe in him, and she hung in there in the face of being ignored and being insulted. Jesus saw her faith in him and her love for her daughter, and he had to respond to that. At the end of Matthew's gospel, the risen Jesus will send his disciples out to all nations. Now, we can't say that it was because this Canaanite woman influenced him that we can't know that this changed his mission. But there's two things we can know. One is that with the risen Jesus, all the limits were gone. And two, that's the time in which we live, without limits. Still, we keep playing that, we continue to play that age-old game of insiders and outsiders. But all the way back to the prophet Isaiah, God said, this is centuries before Jesus, a few centuries before Jesus, God said, salvation is for all, and his house was to be a house of prayer for all people. At the end of Mass, our closing song is God of Mercy. God's mercy has no limits. No one is outside God's mercy. That's what we have to help Aiden here grow up to understand, both to experience that mercy and to be one who is a means for sharing that mercy. Because as we have received, we are called to share.